Hi, this is the video overview for Module 4. And during Module 4, we're going to do 3 chapters. This is the module about decision making as far as distribution, which is also place. We're going to start with Chapter 6. And this goes into the consumer decision making process. This is really interesting. It's trying to get in your customer's head or in the shoes of your customer and really try and understand what they're thinking. And it all starts with a problem or a situation that they need to solve. And I give a lot of examples in my face-to-face classes. And one that I particularly like is if you have a final project and you have 1 day or 2 days or a weekend to work on it, and you're working, get up early, get a cup of coffee, brush your teeth, sit down and just keep working. And at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, you realize you have this massive headache. Well, what is wrong? You have to think about what's happening. And most likely you haven't had anything to eat, so you are hungry. So therein is your problem. You're hungry. And then you have to search for solutions. So you're going to do an internal search in your cabinets and think about what you have, what you could make. And if that doesn't give you a solution, then you're going to go externally and go online and look at, okay, can I order food in? What do I want? And you're going to evaluate, do I want this cuisine or that cuisine? It's totally choices made by the consumer, and you have to kind of understand the path that they're on to try and solve this problem. So if they're evaluating, what are they evaluating? Personally, I would evaluate, can they get to my house without me getting out of my bathrobe and stop working? And how much is it going to cost? And so you have to think about all the variables there. And then people make a choice. And once they make that choice, then they evaluate it after the fact. Was that a good choice? Should I use that vendor in the future or not? So this is, in a nutshell, the consumer decision process. And you're going to go through this consumer decision process and really try and understand your customer for your client's customers, and what they're needing. Like, why do they need your client? Why do they need that product or service? And it could be a need or it could be a want. So that's chapter 6. You're going to read, take the concept check, and then we're going to move into chapter 13, which is supply chain management. And this is all about how products get from where they're manufactured. And it could be in a factory somewhere. And one story I'll tell you real quick. This is just really kind of funny. In my family, I have 2 boys. And when they were growing up, we always picked a kind of a cool place every year and went on vacation. And this is when Southwest they were like flying new places every year. And it was kind of cool to try and get to those new places. So I said, okay, where do you guys want to go? And everybody was throwing ideas out there. And my younger son said, I want to go to China. And I'm like, well, you want to go to China? And we're like, oh, yeah, no, I don't think we're going to go to China. And we kept going. And he goes, Mom, I really want to go to China. I'm like, Kevin, why do you want to go to China? And he said, well, that's where all the toys are made. So in his mind, China is the start of the whole supply chain, because all of the toys are made in China, and they probably go on a slow boat over here to the US, go into some kind of warehouse, and then into the retail stores. So that, in a nutshell, is the supply chain. And it's different for every product or service. And you'll see, because we're going to do a case study on the Royal Flora Holland Amsterdam flower market. And this is a flower market that I've been very excited to be there and see it and see how it works. And I could have stayed there for days. It's so interesting. And so I want to introduce you to that supply chain, because if you think about it, toys and flowers, very different. You know, supply chains are not standard and traditional. It has to evolve around the product, and flowers have to get to their destination within 48 hours, really fast. So the Royal Flora Holland case study and videos are there for you, and then you have to take an assessment. So it's not really a case for this 8-week class where I'm kind of speeding it up for you, and you're looking at the videos and reading, and then you're just going to take an assessment, which is not too difficult, but it is worth 40 points. So don't miss this. Okay, don't miss this. Just, as I said, go into the module, keep clicking next, 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 and you'll get to it. The chapter 14 is also in this module because retailing, as you can imagine, is the end of a distribution channel. Whether it's an online retail store or a bricks and mortar retail store, retailing is very important, and it always will be, because people want to see, feel, touch a product, or online, they want to get it as quickly as possible. So you're going to read about that, and then you're going to submit a draft of your distribution strategy for your client. Okay. I'll put some more readings in there about retail. It's a class that I teach at UNM. And there's a white paper that I find really interesting about what happened during COVID, and did retail change significantly, which it did. And what does it look like for the future of retail? So I'll put that in there if you just want to peruse it. I find it fascinating. But there's a retail management course at UNM if you wanted to take that in the spring. I usually teach it online. Excuse me, but you kind of go on a lot of field trips on your own on that one. All right, so that is module 4. And as always, besides just doing this basic module work, you need to be working on your final project. As I said, the final project draft of the distribution strategy is due during this time, and that's worth 20 points. And what I want you to do is think about where your product is. I'm going to open this up so you can see it. You have to think about where your product is created, and then how do they get those supplies to create it? How is it transported into the hands of the customer? And then where does that production take place? You're going to trace that whole channel and give a lot of details. And that is current the way it is. And then, as usual, with the 4 Ps in your marketing mix, in your marketing plan, you are going to make suggestions. Excuse me. So your suggestions are, has to take into account the efficiency of the channel. So efficiency is not just how fast we can get it to the customers, because we always want our products and services right away, and we want it fast. But how much does it cost to get it to them? So that's what you're going to look at, and you're going to make suggestions based on that. So if you have any other questions, as always, feel free to contact me. I'm here for you.